Hello everyone, this video covers Module 11. So Module 11 is an in-between module. If you remember, we've done this before. We have like a reading module in between some writing modules. So since you have finished your first essay assignment, the process essay, now we are going to move on after this module. We'll move on to the second essay assignment and finish the semester. So that means that this module is kind of in between, just to give you a little buffer and also kind of refocus, allow you to, it's a little bit easier, less stress on writing for this one. So for this module, we'll be taking a look at those reading strategies once again. We've done this once already, so now we're doing a second reader response discussion board. The assignment is a little bit different, but we're using some of those same skills. So the readings are to take a look at that chapter again. There were reading strategies for writers. Remember, we had those two acronyms, the REAP and the SQ3R strategies that work really well if you're trying to sit down and break down an article so that you can read it a little bit better. And then I also want you to take a look at, there's a page in the book on writing a summary. And the idea with a summary is that you take a long work and you make it much shorter. So you would take a whole article and you would summarize it into a couple of sentences. Summarizing is one of those things that you're going to be asked to do over and over again, and being able to summarize something is a really key skill that you need in writing, because anytime you have to, you may have to do this like at your job, your boss wants you to go do some research on something and then come back with some information, you're going to be summarizing it, right? You're not going to read every word of everything that you read. So what you're going to be doing instead is presenting the highlights of, or the main points of, but being able to do that in not just a concise way, but an accurate way can be pretty difficult. So this gives you an example of like a short article that you might see, and then there's a summary of what it might look like if you were to write a summary of that article, and then gives you some ideas for how you could do that, what you might focus on. And then there's some more information on like how do you write a summary, how do you prepare to write a summary, what like the main source, the article, the title, main idea, everything is in your own words. So the important thing about a summary is that it's similar to a paraphrase when you're actually using a source in an essay. You're doing all your own words there, but you want to make sure that it's accurate to the original, but not too similar to the original, because you're not copying any of their words. So like I said, it takes some time that's why we want to practice these skills. So what you're going to be doing then is on the discussion board, the first thing you're going to do is pick an article. You just Google an article that interests you. So my example, I have a sample post here, and I've used this website. I did this over the summer because I'm my little 4-year-old's t-ball coach, and coaching anything for little kids is just it's an experience, we'll just put it that way. And so anyway, I've got this website that I was taking a look at, and obviously it's from the Little League University, so it's going to be a good website to look at. But you'll notice that a lot of the information is just like pictures, and then just explanations of the pictures, and then some information on like how to keep the kids engaged and that kind of thing. So I was able to use this source. What you're going to be looking for your source is, obviously you want the title. So in this case, it's T-ball drills, defensive rotations. I don't have an author, but that's okay, because I know it's from Little League University. I know it's a source that has some good information. And all I'm going to do is post it on the discussion board. So URL, make sure that your classmates can find it. Author and title of source if you have it, and then main idea, or the thesis of the work in your own words. A lot of times just major websites don't have a thesis like we think of. They may not have one sentence that explains like the main point of the website, but you can put that in your own words if you want. And then one just 5 to 7 sentence paragraph that just summarizes the information. So this is my sample post for this website, and you can see that I've just given an overview of what it is, and then some more just information, just summarizing, what is it about, what's included, that kind of thing. And since I just have the title and the URL, that's enough. So this is going to be my sample post, right? So I'm doing this. It's pretty simple, and then I'm just going to post that on the discussion board. The responses are going to add information to my post. So this is the start to what you're going to be doing in Comp 1, which is research, where you're going to be seeing you have this topic. Now we need to find more information about this topic. What sorts of media are going to be good, what sorts of articles are going to be good to add to that. So my example here is, let's say another student posted an article about George Clooney. And so I'm going to, in my response post, I have to provide 2 additional sources about George Clooney. So this one is just a picture, an image, and then, which unfortunately I've heard that they're getting a divorce, so we may have to change my sample post here. And then I also have a video of a podcast. So you'll see that the responses, I'm asking for different kinds of media, so you can see what else is out there. So whether that be a picture or a video, or whether that's like I've got you some examples here. Like let's say they might have posted something about a movie coming out. So now we have a link to the book that's about the movie or something like that. So these are different kinds of media, not just a website, because we've done websites. We know how to look for websites. Now we want different kinds of media to see what else is out there. Maybe a dictionary definition of a word you don't know, maybe something related. So maybe they've done, like, I don't know, a World War II article. Now you can look and see, maybe you might link a film about it. Or maybe you might link an ebook about something related. And so all of that will be, you just need to link the media, brief description, explanation of how it ties in, that kind of thing, a couple of sentences for each one. So you're not writing a ton for these, but the idea is that we're really just trying to pull together ideas and making sure that you're reading things accurately, making sure that you're understanding what you're reading and able to tie things together. So these are the beginnings of a lot of the skills that you'll be practicing in Comp 1 and Comp 2. So that's not where I wanted to go. So the modules that's the main assignment for the module. And then the second part is just doing, we have another grammar quiz, apostrophe quiz. We're getting pretty close to the end of our grammar quizzes. I think we're moving on to more punctuation now. So apostrophes tend to be one of the more difficult grammar things that students, grammar rules for students to follow. So make sure that you're paying close attention, and then your grammar quiz will be similar to what you've done before. So next module, we'll be starting on the next essay. So enjoy the break from a lot of writing, and have a great week. And if you have any questions, send me an email.